It was late in the afternoon and splashes of puddle could be heard all over the market stalls as crowds surged for the best deals. Bunch of bananas for £1, love? The market stall sirens merged with the cultural sounds of reggae rhythms across the grey sky. Hubbub ensured multilingual conversation darted diagonally across the square. Mothers scolding their children, old ladies examining fruit, and Junior, working his way through the masses, struggling upstream, examining his local environment. Dalston, East London, the source of deprivation, low educational attainment, and a vast supply of social housing. Families scrapping on pennies just to survive, working hard, their wages entered bags full of holes. Low pay, unemployment, and discontent. This was home. Junior walked through Ridley Road Market, careful not to step on toes of passers-by, squinting to ensure his new Nikes didn't get abused in the process. He cursed inwardly as yet another person stood in front of him to peer at the fish displayed. Sidestepping just in time, Junior avoided crashing into the back of him. He continued his journey. Nearing the bus stop near the market, which would lead him to the main road, Junior saw a young mother who looked no older than 19. She had long dark hair, her skin pale white, coloured slightly by the bruises on her face. Skin covered in faded pair of jeans. Her sad-looking grey hooded top was beat down. She looked unkempt. Her soundtrack, the screaming child, and a pram beneath her, and she was tired of the tune. Ignoring the scream, she continued to pester the butcher to let her off the pound she was short of. Junior sighed, glanced back in disbelief, and continued to the bus stop ahead. The dancing raindrops falling against the bus shelter were drowned by the thumping bass entering Junior's eardrums. He was desperate to escape the arguing and the shouting that surrounded him. Volume turned up to the maximum. He bobbed his head to the beat. Across the road, "Demand living wage, not minimum wage," was scrawled in passionate black graffiti against the concrete wall. He nodded in silent agreement. Clambering on the bus, Junior's discomfort could only manage 3 stops before his finger found the bell and he escaped into the cold wind. The weather was miserable, like a child who had lost his dummy. The clouds bawled repetitively. Even Junior decided to take his chances. It was supposed to be summer. Mid-June, and the temperature refused to rise above a breezy 15 degrees. Briefly checking the time, his leisurely pace quickened and his inner sat-nav diverted him to a side road shortcut. Momentarily, his attention was captured by the contrast of Lawford Road. Generous-sized terraced houses boasted expensive cars in every driveway. Even the birds seemed to favour the large trees spaced out evenly along the road. His eyes found his reality. 100 yards away, a desolate sight of tower blocks, tiny windows, cracked paintwork, symmetrical yet obscene. With a glance, he took into the beautiful distraction before commencing to the council estate, overflowing with last week's bins and litter and badly spelt graffiti. Junior reached his destination with moments to spare. The Lion Club, a local refuge for aspiring boxers. Randomly painted pink, the 2-story building was home to the lion of statue right next to it. As old as his granddad, the club had survived 7 decades, a landmark in the community. Although it used to be specifically for boys, it accommodated all young people in the area. They came to box, to train, to reach professional status. Junior's friend Jamie was a regular at the club, and Junior was here to support him. He knew his other friends Samuel and Jason were probably discussing his lateness as he approached the entrance. Typical. Junior's hands met his pocket as he tried to find change for the sub fee to get in. He signed his name and smiled at the lady behind the desk. Still unable to locate any money in his tracksuit, she tutted at him slowly losing her patience. "Junior, you always do this. Why don't you sort out your money before you come in?" Junior smiled as he responded, "I'm sorry, I think I dropped it while I was running." Is it okay if I can owe you? The woman looked at him while she checked his name in the database. Seems like you owe us £5 already. Please make sure you bring it next time with you. No worries, he smiled. Junior replied with a relieved look on his face. He quickly made his way into the hall where the fight was due to take place. He could taste the energy in the atmosphere as he walked in. Overwhelmed by the number of unknown faces, the hall was decorated with handmade banners and signs. The people holding them chanted and laughed. The place was in high spirits. It seemed as if the whole community had trekked out to support young amateur boxers. As Junior attempted to locate his friends, the announcer strode into the middle of the boxing ring. And in the blue corner, he declared, we have Jack, the deadly blow porter from Bermondsey, South London. Parts of the crowd began to boo at the sound of his name, but simultaneously a large roar erupted for his supporters. Looking around the ring, the announcer waited for the noise to subside before continuing. And in the red corner, he boomed, we have Jamie, the menace marker from New North Road, the rising star out of Hoxton. Then the end of the announcement was barely audible over the loud shouts, chanting, stomping feet and crazy noise people made. In the midst of the commotion, a chant was raised and avalanched around the hall. Stand up, if you love Jamie, stand up, if you love Jamie. His work complete. The chubby announcer crawled out of the ring awkwardly, barely squeezing through the ropes. Jamie and Jack strutted to the center of the ring, signaling the big fight was imminent. Junior, now desperate to find a seat, scanning the crowd, he located Samuel and Jason at the other end of the hall. He moved towards them, leaving behind a trail of angry spectators. Get out of the way, one shouted. Move, idiot, you're not transparent, shouted another. He ignored them. Look who finally decided to show up, Samuel said to Junior as he stood up to touch fists with him. Jason barely acknowledged him, Junior's presence. He was totally focused on the fight taking place. Jamie looks in really good shape, Junior commented. Look how ripped his arms looked. He even looked like he's been working on his core. Look at those abs. Samuel laughed. Just like your abs, don't you think? He said sarcastically. On a serious note, Jamie's been seriously working out, Jason said. He's gone from 12.5 stones to 11 stones. He's really serious about making it pro. The boxing match had reached epic levels. The third and final round commenced, and even though Jamie seemed to be in control, the competition was extremely tight. Emotions were tense and the crowd was supporting to the top of their lungs. They had seen Jamie knock out bigger contestants, yet they were anxious to see it again. The expression on Jamie's face oozed passion and desire. His concentration working through his veins, evident in every blow planted. The clock was ticking. Only minutes left, and Jack had Jamie cornered. A couple of inches between them. Jack's height gave him the slight advantage. Jack's supporters were urging him on, encouraging him to go for the knockout. Jack leaned into Jamie, throwing long jabs. They were no match for Jamie, whose light footwork enabled him to maneuver past the assault with ease. Biding his time, Jamie faked left as a wild swing of right hook came from Jack. Noticing his prime opportunity, Jamie launched a devastating right hook on Jack's face, flooring him completely. The crowd were left on their feet, clapping, jumping and screaming victoriously. The chant echoed triumphantly around the room. Junior, Samuel and Jason all stood up simultaneously and joined in the chorus. Stand up if you love Jamie. Samuel suddenly stopped singing. Did you notice how he kept his composure and knocked him out, he cried. That was nothing short of amazing, replied Junior with a big smile on his face. Most importantly, look at all the love he's getting from everyone. Besides him, Jason's expression went from jubilation to one of sadness. What is the matter, Jay? Samuel asked. Jason looked up and waved at Jamie, who was taking his headgear off. He turned to Samuel and Junior. It's a shame his dad's unable to be here to watch his son. It's just so sad. I know it must be affecting him inside. At that exact moment, the announcer climbed back into the ring awkwardly. Your winner and still undefeated in the amateur ranks, Jamie the Menace Marker. The crowd began shouting with joy, but grew silent as Jamie addressed the crowd. First and foremost, he looked up. I would like to dedicate this win to my dad, who's fighting cancer. His hardest challenge to date. Jamie stopped, with one hand over his eyes, trying to stop the tears which were already free falling from his eyelids. Regaining composure, he continued. To those who have supported my family and I'm so grateful and I'm thankful for all your support. The support you have shown me today has been amazing. I'll never forget where I came from. And finally, I would like to thank my mum who couldn't make it here due to work commitments. And to my three good friends, Jason, Samuel and Junior. I consider them my brothers. Thank you all very much.